In this video, I'm testing out the latest firmware update for the Mini 4 Pro, and we have yet another new feature. So first video of 2025, and firstly I hope you all had a fantastic new year and holiday season. Hope you got a good break, some time with your family. Did you get any new tech products, maybe a new drone? Let me know in the comments down below. For me, I had a couple of weeks off as well. I really needed it. Burnout was getting super close, so having a rest and reset was super helpful. Now in January, I think it's a fantastic time to make sure all your drones are all maintained as well. So go and actually change all the propellers, make sure they're all fine. Any nicks on them, get them changed so it's all fresh. Go and format your memory cards, have a look at any filters and defilters that you might have on the front of your drones. What are they like? Might be time to actually change them as well. And do this with any drones you have. Get all your batteries charged, so then as soon as you actually come to fly this drone, it's all nice and new. Now I actually got the Mini 4 Pro, not flown this for a couple of weeks because I've been off. Now I turned this on about a week ago and I noticed a firmware update was available. Now you might notice on the screen it says firmware update, but when you go to click on it, it doesn't do anything. It just spins and spins and says server error. Sometimes this happens. If it does, just keep pressing it or go to about at the bottom of the screen and click check for updates there. If that still doesn't work, just check it a few hours later. The server might be down. But when you actually have got this updated, you will notice a new feature on the Mini 4 Pro. Now, around about a year ago now, DJI pumped out a firmware update, giving us the option to look out of these obstacle avoidance sensors. So these sensors on here, these actually will detect objects and actually bypass and brake. These are fantastic and really useful, but they also give you the option to actually look out of these obstacle avoidance sensors on your screen as well. For me, that's really handy. I like flying a lot of the time with the sensors off, flying through small gaps, tight spaces, going really close to like trees and objects, buildings, just to enhance that video quality. But to be able to actually see directly out of these obstacle avoidance cameras when I'm flying in those tight spaces, as well as actually seeing out of the drone camera, it's a fantastic feature. So to actually activate this, if you've never actually done this before, in the bottom left hand corner of your controller, you will see that compass icon. Now actually, as you swipe to the left of that, if your drone's not taken off yet, you will see view after takeoff. Once that drone's in the air, you can actually swipe across and you can see directly out of here. Now you can actually click on the button, it will actually enlarge it full screen, and then you can actually choose, do you want the side sensors, front, or the back sensors. You can also actually go and click on that icon. If you actually hold down on it, it will lock it. So if I'm going through an object like here, I've got an object on the right hand side, I want to see out of these side sensors here to see just how close I am to that. So as I'm flying past it, not only can I see it in the sky as well through my own vision, but now I can actually see just how close it is through these sensors by holding down on that screen. Then if I actually click off that, I can actually get a small preview in that corner, which can remain there all the time. It's a really, really good feature. But I also noticed after this firmware update, so you've got this screen in the bottom left hand corner out of these obstacle avoidance sensors. If you actually press and hold on there, you can now drag that screen anywhere on your controller, which is fantastic. So I can actually just have it directly above my compass. I could have it at the top of the screen. I can have it on the bottom right. I can move this now anywhere I want. And I think this is fantastic because now I can actually have two key features on the screen all the time. I'm not having to choose between, do I want to see out of the vision sensors or do I want my compass displayed, or wasting time switching between both. I can just simply press and hold and drag that vision sensor screen up. So now I can actually see all the time out of these cameras. And then I can also swipe at the bottom to the left and have my compass. So now I've got the compass on there, which is a really vital tool showing the drone's orientation. Any obstacles, you'll get little red dots on the actual compass icon. Also show you your home points. So having that compass on there is really vital. But this leads me on to, are DJI going to actually give us the option to add and remove icons on here? Certain icons you might not need all the time. Can we actually get this so you can have just a clear picture? Similar to cameras, you can actually have all the icons on the screen, or you can click the display button and then all the icons go away and you just get a full live preview on that screen. So it's a little bit less hectic. Now, are DJI going to add that? It's really good. And now DJI thinking about adding widgets as well. If we can actually click and move this anywhere, could we add widgets to this and have different icons or different like weather things on here? That'd be really interesting. So I think this is a great feature and I really do hope it continues, and I'm excited to see what else we could get in the future similar to this. If you have the DJI Air 3S, go and update that because that also works exactly the same. I will now switch to the voiceover. I'm going to test some of the features on here, go through some of the settings, make sure everything is working correctly. But before we do that, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe, because as I mentioned at the start of the video, there is so many new products coming out really soon as well. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on them. Let's switch to that voiceover. Okay, so a quick test on the Mini 4 Pro. Might be some new viewers here, just got your Mini 4 Pro, so I'll go through some of these settings here and see how we get on. And it is really vital to make sure that all of your settings are correct, especially with the firmware update. Settings can get changed, so go and have a look through your settings before you go off and do your next flight. So under safety, so as mentioned, I do fly a lot of time with my sensors off if I'm going to be flying through tight spaces, gaps, really close to things, but I would advise the majority of the time just hit it to bypass. This means if it actually detects any objects, the sensoring is going to detect them and then it's going to actually go around that object. That's what I would recommend, like 90% of the time. And just underneath that, you'll see display radar map. Make sure this is switched on. You want your compass, that bottom left hand corner, you want that to be enabled all the time. This is a really crucial feature, and this is where we can swipe across like I've just mentioned and see those vision sensors. Now you can also go and change your max altitude and max distance. It's going to be dependent on which country you're living in, but just make sure this is all set correctly. And crucially, return to home altitude. I get questions on this all the time. So your max return to home altitude, this wants to be actually taller than the highest object in the area that you're flying for that flight plan. Let me just show you an example here. So I've got this like radar tower to my right hand side. So in my area, I would say this and a wind turbine is the tallest object. So I want to make sure that if the drone was to disconnect, it can actually climb above them. Just say for instance, worst case scenario, I have no control, but that drone is going to then increase to the altitude I've set and come back to me. But if I set it to say 30 meters, so around about 130 feet, that's not going to be high enough to clear the tallest object in my area. And this is where things go wrong and people end up crashing their drone. So have a look in your area. What is the tallest object in your flight? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually just go past this radar station and I'm going to increase my altitude to 80 meters, 260 feet. Now I'm going to hit return to home. Now what's going to happen now is that drone is going to increase altitude from 35 meters and it's going to go up to 80 meters, the height that I've set it at, 260 feet. Once it's climbed to that altitude, it's then just going to fly in a line or a curved line like this, straight back to that home point. And this means it's going to then miss any objects in that area. Now you want to make sure your AR settings are all switched on. So go to settings and then switch all three of these on. This is going to get your return to home route, the AR home point, and also the aircraft shadow for landing. Go to the very bottom of here, advanced safety settings. This should be set to return to home majority of the time, unless you're on something which is moving and your home point is going to be changing. Let's have a quick look at a video test now. So I shoot in D-Log-M. Now you can see the Mini 4 Pro, the quality is so good. You know, I've got quite good lighting in the area that I'm in now, but it really is impressive for such a small drone. You can also switch to the vertical camera. That's working great now. So photos and videos, just make sure your composition is all nice. I'm just going to do a really simple rise up shot here just above these boats just to show that landscape. So I hope you've been practicing your drone moves over this winter period because you're going to need them over this next few months. Now sports mode, this is great for getting to different objects, different places that you want to go out and film. So just like this wind turbine, I'm just going to do a simple manual orbit around this. So practice this is where it's good to have your grid lines on. If you're filming in 4K 60, you can slow it down and get some really cool effects. But you can also get 4K 100 on the Mini 4 Pro. So if you go into this, you can see just how slow you can get it. And that looks fantastic, doesn't it? So play around with these slow-mo settings just to get some different effects. Now, if you're not comfortable doing manual orbits, you can use spotlight mode. This does a pretty good job. It does struggle on some objects to keep lock, especially on the wind turbine. This is really challenging for it, but you can see it does a great job. But if you're wanting some free drinks, free meals, then local businesses here, they love aerial shots, so contact them. And spotlight mode, you can get some really cool shots without a lot of effort. Just drag a box around this local pub and I can get a really nice aerial shot that I'm sure they will be happy with. So contact businesses in your area. They always like aerial shots. Don't turn up annoying them. Go and ask first of all, but I'm sure there'll be a deal to be had. But the great feature on here is to be able to move these vision sensors, move that box so I can have both of them on all the time. This is working great. I hope you've enjoyed this video. The Mini 4 Pro, there's still a lot of life left in this. If you do want any more tips or tricks, don't forget I have my own digital cheat sheets, a website full of cheat sheets, video LUTs to how to get much better video quality. I have these in both digital formats, which you can keep on your phone, or also physical versions that get shipped out to you. So you can get a DJI Mini 4 Pro Ultimate Setting Guides book. I've also got a creator combo that comes with my Ultimate 25 drone moves. So go and check them out on my website. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.